Coaching is not a profession, it's a chromosome, something many of us were doing long before we even knew the word coaching. Because coaching at its core is simply this: how you talk to yourself in your own head. Every day you ask yourself questions that quietly answer another deeper question: who am I? But the strange part is this: many of these questions aren't yours. They sound in voices you didn't choose. The critic: why did you fail again? What's wrong with you? The imposter: what if you're wrong? You don't get to want more? The internalized authority: pull yourself together, don't complain, work harder. These questions shape your reality. The choices you make, how you run your business, how you build relationships, how you interpret your own life. Hi everyone, I'm Vika, a practicing coach deeply in love with the inner architecture of the mind, with human logic, patterns, and internal dynamics. On my channel, I explore how coaching helps me understand my own worldview so I can better understand others. The surprising thing is this: personality doesn't form through decisions or even experience, it forms through internal dialogue. More precisely, through the question we use to navigate ourselves through life. Not thoughts, not beliefs, not feelings, questions. The ones that flare up faster than you can notice. They fly over your critical thinking, and that's why they easily become you, even though they're often nothing more than introjects, fragments of someone else's logic, shame, expectations. This is how the contour of personality forms, not through what we were taught as children, but through the questions we learned to ask ourselves. So, when I say coaching is a cognitive feature, I mean exactly that. Coaching, it's a way of relating to your own psyche, a way of guiding yourself through the questions that don't break you but gather you, questions that don't steal your foundation but return it. At some point you begin to notice it's not about skills, not about ICF markers, not even about methodology. It's about the moment when you start hearing which internal question work against you and which finally allow you to grow. A coaching question is a non-directive external frame that doesn't destroy the client's coordinates but lets them to see those coordinates from within. A coaching question doesn't correct, convince, argue, impose a better logic. It unfolds the client's own meaning in a way that becomes visible to them. That is what constructive means in coaching, not by content but by function. Coaching is the only format where inner dialogue becomes visible, where questions stop sounding like introjects and start functioning as instruments of consciousness, where you stop being a person driven by old internal voices and become someone who chooses their own vector. A person can think from introjects, shame, old defenses, destructive loops, early decisions, false conclusions, internalized authority. It is just the construction they are currently living in. Coaching doesn't work with truth, coaching works with construction. So the person can finally see what it's made of. Why does a coaching question change thinking? Not because it leads to a better place, but because the client begins to notice what they themselves consider logical. And once the logic becomes visible, choice becomes possible. And where choice appears, authorship appears. If this is what I think, I can understand where it comes from and what I want to do with it. The psyche stops running on autopilot. A coaching question breaks the automatic loop without breaking the person. No pressure, no interpretation, no alternative offered, just visibility. And here comes cognitive separation. What is it? It's the process where a person separates what they think from who they are, or broader, what happens inside the psyche from the psyche as the subject of choice. Even shorter, cognitive separation is the ability to distinguish the content of thinking from the position that produced it. Wow! As long as a person is fused within thought, emotion, impulse, they cannot choose, because there are those reactions. I'm anxious, so the world is dangerous. I feel shame, so I'm bad. I'm hurting, so I'm under threat. I think I'll fail, so I'm incapable. Separation as a teeny but essential step. I think does not equal I am. I feel not the same as this is reality. It seems so, not it is so. And only then emerges the space for authorship. Cognitive separation in coaching is where it gets beautiful. Coach doesn't say that's just a thought, don't believe it. Coach does something more professional and profoundly non-directive. They break the fusion between the client and their thought without breaking the thought itself. How? Through validation. Let's look from inside your logic. Reflecting the structure, inquiries into meaning and connection, exploring consequences, meta question, like where does this understanding arise from? The person starts looking at the thought instead of from it. And here comes the cognitive click. Wait, this is my process and I can work with it. And here is connection to authorship. Cognitive separation is at the pre-authorial stage. As long as there is no separation, there is no choice. As long as there is no choice, there is no internal ethics. And without internal ethics, no stable sense of who I am. So, here the way. Separation goes to choice, choice goes to inner, inner goes to ethics, personality, contour goes to authorship. Why this framework resonates so deeply? Because it is psychologically sound, ICF-aligned, non-directed, trauma-informed, clean, safe, and it speaks directly to people with high sensitivity and high reflective capacity. People who often don't know what's happening inside them, but they feel separation in their body. And it feels like relief. I am not this whole chaos. I am the one who can look at it. Thank you for being with me in this reflection, and if something resonates, feel free to leave a comment. They always spark new ideas.